Welcome into New Orleans Saints Now. I am Tom Downey, and unfortunately am once again the bearer of bad news for New Orleans as Michael Thomas has suffered a setback with his ankle injury, and he announced today he was out for the year. The immediate impact, continuation of a loss for the Saints at wide receiver. We'll dive into that. With Thomas not coming back, we can look at some replacements as well. And I also wonder what the future, long-term, looks like for Thomas. Before we get into all that stuff, first, his quotes. I've always been a man of faith, and these past few months, my faith has truly been tested. As many of you know, early last season, I injured my ankle and worked extremely hard over the next few months to get back in time to finish the season. Unfortunately, the rehab didn't go as planned, and earlier this offseason, it was apparent I would need to have a procedure to repair the injury. Since then, the team and I have worked diligently, day and night, to rehab and get me back on the field. Unfortunately, there has been another small setback which we will have to address. To my displeasure, I will not be able to make it back in time for the season, but will do everything in my power to get back to the player I have always been. I know God doesn't make mistakes, so I will continue to follow his path and can't wait to be back on the field in front of the best fans. I do kind of wonder if that's really going to be the case for Michael Thomas, but this is a noteworthy loss for the Saints and even you fantasy owners out there as well. New Orleans was mostly banking on Michael Thomas being this team's number one wide receiver, and there's been some whispers and buzz that maybe the team isn't all that happy with the way this whole thing has gone down, which I think is perfectly understandable. So Thomas will remain on the PUP list for the entire year. That leaves Marquez Callaway and Traquan Smith as the team's top two receivers, plus Ty Montgomery, Kenny Stills, Deontay Harris, Lil Jordan Humphrey. Kevin White got some run after being a practice squad promotion, which, if you're playing Kevin White, that probably means your receiving core is not where it needs to be. And I wonder if there is some bad blood right now between the organization and the player, and if so, Michael Thomas can be moved on from this upcoming season. Now, this is his contract. This year, a $10.1 million cap hit. Not that bad. Sucks you get no play out of him, but that's noteworthy. Next season, the cap hit balloons, or dare I say skyrockets, to $24.7 million. That's too much to pay Michael Thomas. So they could either choose to restructure that deal right now, or they could move on from him. The trade savings and the release savings are the same. If they make a move before June 1st, saves them $2 million. If they make a move after June 1st, or designate as a post-June 1st cut, they save 15 points. However, they can't use that money until after June 1st. So the door is at least a little bit open in New Orleans. So what do you guys think? Will Michael Thomas play again for the New Orleans Saints? Y for yes or N for no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video, meaning if you get the ad break here on YouTube, head on down and let me know what you're thinking. I'm of this mindset. I think Thomas's future is oh so murky right now. I don't think that the side in terms of the organization and the player and his camp are maybe on the bestest of terms right now. He should have been back already, and I get setbacks happen. It's a little weird, though, that there's been yet another one and some alleged disgruntledness with Thomas. It's all iffy, and we'll see how it plays out in the offseason. As it relates to right now, the Saints reportedly did try to trade for a wide receiver, including a big name we'll get to again momentarily, Odell Beckham, but they were not able to make it happen, which is all very interesting. Now the Saints are in this position of we don't have a very good receiving core. That's a big-time problem for us. So I want you guys to kind of play a GM, play ownership here. Do you think the Saints need another wide receiver? Type in 1 for yes, they got to go get one more. Or you can type in 0 for no. Sound off for me in the comments section as we run through some top Michael Thomas replacements. First up, DeSean Jackson. And this is a name that we'll probably know more about in a mere matter of hours. Jackson was waived by the Rams. Now, after the trade deadline, players who are cut are subject to waiver. So a team could claim DeSean, like the Saints, although they don't technically have enough cap space right now, but again, the Saints are better than any team in the NFL. They can make it work. The Raiders allegedly have interest as they deal with their own issues. And does Jackson want to come to the Saints? He could be your number 2. He'd be an upgrade over Kenny Stills as your vertical threat. It makes some sense if the Saints can land him. But I want to spend some time here on Odell Beckham Jr. Now, again, trade deadline's over. You cannot trade for him. We are all aware of that. Saints tried to trade for him, though. Couldn't get the deal done. The Browns and Odell Beckham, though, it seems rather quickly, have now reached critical mass in terms of that relationship, that standing for the organization. There is a chance the Browns cut Odell Beckham this year, whether it's today, a week, 3 weeks, whatever. If that does end up being the case, Odell Beckham, who played at LSU, to New Orleans, I think that makes a ton of sense. And I think it would be a good move by the Saints as they try to make a run here at the playoffs despite not having Jameis Winston. How they run their offense without Winston is kind of still up in the air. Is it Simeon? I think it's Taysom Hill. He's not a great thrower of the football. It's going to be interesting for New Orleans. But if Odell Beckham does get cut, the Saints unquestionably should be near the top of that destinations list. All right, now for some guys the Saints could get at any point because these guys are all free agents, no waivers, no cuts, whatever. John Brown, Golden Tate, Alshon Jeffery, Seth Roberts, Devin, Funchess. 5 of the top-ish names that we'll go through, 10 total coming up here. We'll go player by player. First up is John Brown, who was cut by the Raiders, said he wanted to get cut, has not been signed yet. If you're looking for somebody to, again, give you some vertical ability, which maybe you don't love right now in New Orleans, I think John Brown actually would be a good name. I think he's one of the top free agent receivers out there right now. Now, I got more names coming. Before that, though, I want you guys to name a player who you want the Saints to go out and sign in NFL free agency. We're focused on receivers here more than anything, but let me know what you have to say in the comments section. All right, Golden Tate next up here, a more slot receiver who might have his own locker room issues from the way things ended in New York, but he's a known name, bit of a smaller guy, but you're playing Ty Montgomery as your slot. I think I'd rather have Golden Tate out there, let's be honest. If you want an outside receiver, Alshon Jeffery, bigger target. He has really fallen apart in terms of his career. The level of play has dipped tremendously in recent seasons for Alshon Jeffery. But again, bigger name, maybe he's healthy now. Seth Roberts, next up here, offers you some special teams value if you need it, which maybe that's something the Saints could be looking out for as well. A bit of a lesser name, but still someone I did want to mention. As a reminder, it is November. The free agency crop is not particularly strong right now. Our next goal here on New Orleans Saints now is 2,500 subscribers. A lot of you guys are watching, but you're not subbing. So if you haven't already, let's go. Subscribe right now, youtube.com/Saints Today. Devin Funchess, another bigger body option on the outside, who I still think maybe should have been a tight end. Anyway, Funchess has opted out last year and then got cut by the Packers. Again, this is the last time I'll say it. Not a great group of free agent receivers out there. Funchess really is probably one of your best available players. Now, the Saints have no Jameis Winston for the rest of the year. They are not going to have Michael Thomas come back at any point. So, what will be the Saints' record this season? Get your votes, your thoughts, and your predictions in for me right now in the comments. All right, 5 more names. Larry Fitzgerald, Dez Bryant, Marqise Lee, Pharoh Cooper, and we'll wrap up with Justin Hardy. We will not spend much time on Justin Hardy. Fitzgerald is the biggest name on this list, and he didn't really ever close the door on him playing this year in the NFL, but the Cardinals didn't bring him back, or he didn't want to come back. I think it's kind of Arizona or bust for Fitz, so I'm not going to get my hopes up for that one. Now, Dez Bryant is an interesting name because he did briefly play, I guess, for the New Orleans Saints, and then he got hurt almost immediately. So maybe they want to bring him back. Look, I think Dez is kind of done at this point. He's nowhere near what he was at his peak, but he kind of knows the offense. Red zone threat, maybe. Give him a call. Marqise Lee, who I liked a lot coming out of USC, has never lived up to his own expectations. Hasn't played this year. He's available. He's bounced around. He kind of might be cooked as well. Pharoh Cooper, though, is a name that intrigues me. Again, there's a lot of special teams value here. I thought he was going to make the Jags. He ended up not. He's been a very much bounce-around player in recent years. But if you're adding a receiver, having someone who's on special teams doesn't hurt either. That's how NFL teams tend to operate. Finally, Justin Hardy, because I think you Saints fans know him from his time back then with the Atlanta Falcons. By far the least appealing of the names on this list, but I wanted to get to the full 10 beyond DeSean Jackson, Odell Beckham, so I threw him in there because I'm a sucker for round numbers. Folks, again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to us here, youtube.com/Saints Today.